Welcome back, everybody. Dillon Quitugua is a young man who grew up in Eva Beach. He had a tough childhood, mostly the result of his father. He was the victim of child abuse. Now he spends most of his days and hours running, not to escape his past, but to embrace it head on. If you want to have a conversation with Dillon Quitugua, you better lace up your sneakers, because he rarely spends much time standing still. This is how the Campbell High School graduate spends a large percentage of his waking hours.
I am right now as an ultramarathon runner. In the last 2 years I've been competing, and I've done a 27-mile run, a handful of 30-milers, 2 50-milers, and in 2 weeks I'll be doing a 100-mile run.
For Dillon, running is much more than just a passion. It's a purpose, with something to be gained and learned with every single stride.
The biggest thing for me is the mental part of it, is that like learning how to push through my limits. You know, I kind of grew up with a lot of struggle, and so I'm not a stranger to that. And so I want to be able to push myself and use the things that I've struggled in the past to propel me through success.
The struggles that he speaks about go back to his childhood, a time when he says both he and his brother were victims of abuse at the hands of their father.
I grew up in a household of domestic violence. Grew up, getting beat up by my dad, and so that was really hard for me. I had gotten PTSD when I was 17.
He says it got to a point where he needed to make some life-changing decisions to find a new path, to help him see the light in an otherwise dark place, or put another way, to save his life.
And the idea of mental health was so prominent to me as a 17-year-old, but through the outlet of wrestling and running and martial arts, those are big keys for my success and to really push through those struggles.
He started wrestling in his freshman year of high school and continued into his college years in Colorado, citing sports as the window that allowed him to look within. He says what he saw led him down a difficult road of self-discovery.
And a big part of endurance sports and ultramarathon running is to embrace that struggle and then push through it, because on the other side of that struggle is success and happiness and the feeling of accomplishment, and that reward is so important to me.
While it might be easy to assume that Dillon was running to escape his past, he says it's quite the opposite. For him, the endless miles or time on the mat always represented a way to confront his fears and challenges head on.
That entire time, it's your thought and your actions that move your feet forward or take that chance to wrestle someone. So, I think it really comes from within.
And it's the physical pain that he says allowed him to tap into his emotional pain that he'd been trying for so many years to release himself from.
I do believe that when you're physically healthy, emotionally you become healthy as well, and vice versa. So when you're emotionally healthy, you're going to want to exercise more, and so those two play a very, very important roles in my life.
Dillon graduated from college with a degree in clinical psychology. He says what he learned along the way was that it was that fear of challenge and pain that kept him from growing, something that was reinforced after spending time in Nepal, where he served volunteering with the Peace Corps.
When I was there, all I could do was run. I was stripped away from everything, from friends and family, from even English. And so, like, I was alone a lot of times, and so running really helped me in the Peace Corps. And, you know, I had never thought that running could take me to where I am today.
That place is helping others. And while finding his own inner peace started as a solo journey, it's something he now shares.
You know, I say that running is by myself, but, you know, I think you need to have camaraderie, you need to have support, and my biggest support right now is Joseph Coyle.
He's always positive, he's pushing others to be the best that they can be, and then he truly wants to help people reach their goals and reach their dreams. And I feel like he's gotten me to run more and to be able to train more, and truly helped me out.
He's like my left-hand man. He's like a part of me. He's like an appendage of mine, and we push each other throughout these runs.
For anybody who's ever experienced physical or emotional pain, Dillon says if channeled properly, that suffering will lead to wisdom.
It's incredible. His past was rough, but he's been able to get to a spot where he's inspiring a lot of people and motivating a lot of people, and it's incredible to watch, for sure.
Dillon is such an inspiring individual, overcoming such hardship at such a young age. When we are faced with challenges, it's hard to see things on the brighter side, but Dillon has managed to do just that through running and traveling. And what's even more inspiring is his devotion to giving back to those that are experiencing or have experienced child abuse. Dillon overflows with energy, but at the same time, he has such a peacefulness about him. So Dillon, thank you so much for your positivity and your generosity. And we at 7-Eleven are going to be rooting for you back at home as you take on your next adventure at Mount Everest.
And there's a saying that pain that's not transformed gets transmitted, and we have the ability to transform our pain into beautiful, beautiful things.
Boy, what a young man, and all the best to Dillon as he continues his journeys. And if you want to follow him and listen to his message, which is a very important one, he has a podcast and a website. Maybe he could help somebody you know.